Hey, Bo, it's good to see you. Happy New Year, man, 2019. I'll drink to that. Have you been here for 30 years? I wonder if Bo has been around for 30 years. This May, we will be celebrating the 30th anniversary of Disney's MGM and Hollywood Studios. Hi everybody, welcome to the world of Micah. May 1st, 1989, my favorite theme park in the entire world opened its doors for guests. The Disney MGM Studios. Now this was the very first movie studio to ever open in Florida, and boy did it make a huge impact on the East Coast. This year, 2019, May 1st, 2019, we are going to be celebrating the 30th anniversary of this wonderful park. Now it has gone under a complete name change from the Disney MGM Studios to Disney's Hollywood Studios, and we've also seen quite a few changes with attractions, shows, and some overall looks. But there's one thing that still remains. This place is all about Hollywood. Today on the world of Micah, we're going to be traveling around Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I'm going to be showing you guys a few photographs from the opening year of Disney's MGM Studios. Now the photographs I'll be using today are from a fella named Dan from tomorrowsociety.com. I will put a link to his website in the description box. Visit his website and take a closer look at these photographs he has provided. They are pretty incredible. We're going to travel around Disney's Hollywood Studios today and compare and contrast what the park looks like compared to opening year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Hooray for Hollywood. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a closer look. Now the entrance is completely different. Of course it does say Disney's Hollywood Studios instead of the Disney MGM Studios, but as you can see there's a huge security system right here where you have to get your bag checked and everything before you can go in the park for safety. So you don't really get to see the sign or the entrance that you once saw back in 1989 until you pass that. But right about here was where this photograph was taken. A lot's changed. You can still see the crossroads and Mickey Mouse in the distance there and a little bit of the spires of the entrance, but they did not have the security system they do now back in 1989. Now let's start off right here at one of my favorite spots in the entire park. It's right after you first walk in, and the first thing you see is Hollywood Boulevard, and right down the street at the very end is the Cinderella Castle of this park, the Chinese Theater, which once housed my favorite attraction, the Great Movie Ride. If you look over to the left, right next to Pluto's Toy Palace, you can see there used to be a taxi cab sitting right over there where some of the citizens of Hollywood would do different bits for the guests walking around. Nowadays they've removed that, I guess because of how popular this place has become, as well as different parades they have and different offerings they have with the Star Wars characters. But Hollywood Boulevard pretty much looks the exact same as it did in 1989. Pretty awesome. I always feel like I'm walking into a time capsule here in certain parts, mostly because of the architecture. I started coming here probably about 25 years ago, and when I would walk in and look at all the architecture and buildings, I really couldn't help but think I was really in Hollywood land. And for a small kid from Mississippi, that blew my mind. I really thought I was in Hollywood land, but I was in Florida. But hey, it made me believe. I always have to stop right here at the plaque because this is pretty much one of the only things still in the park that still has the Disney MGM Studios logo on it. Although it says Disney's Hollywood Studios right up there on top, right there, it does say Disney MGM Studios. And there's a nice little quote from Michael D. Eisner from opening day. The world you have entered was created by the Walt Disney Company and is dedicated to Hollywood. Not a place on the map, but a state of mind that exists wherever people dream and wonder and imagine. A place where illusion and reality are fused by technological magic. We welcome you to a Hollywood that never was and always will be. Our next stop is going to be right here at the now Star Wars launch bay, but back in 1989, this was the entrance and building for the Disney MGM Backlot Tour. A lot has changed in this area, but the overall shape of the building is still the same. These two guys are the exact same, and the front is the same, but right here where it says Star Wars, obviously that has changed. And look at the palm trees. These are new palm trees. These are not the same palm trees from 1989. But the light poles over here, those are the same light poles that they had back in 1989. '89 when this first opened. Now this is where you would walk in to take your journey on a backlot tour of the entire Disney MGM Studios. And now it has been taken over by Star Wars. Oh, how 30 years makes a difference. The next stop is here at the Disney Hollywood Studios Archway. Now this used to be the entrance that you would take to get to the building of the Disney backlot tour. As you can see, the sign has completely changed from Disney MGM Studios to now Disney's Hollywood Studios. And take a look at this little blue checkered print. It used to go all the way up. Now it stops about halfway. But I noticed the little light poles on each side, those are the exact same. Pretty incredible. The building over here to the far left now houses Voyage of the Little Mermaid, but back in 1989, it did not. And on either side, right here and here, those little archways are the exact same from 1989. And right here was the building for the Monster Sound Show. As you can see, the overall shell of the building is the exact same. Pay attention, right up there. That used to hold a pretty big tower antenna. And on the tower over here, it used to have a lightning bolt and it said SFX. Pretty cool. If you ever got to do this show, comment below and let me know. And look at the building in the background here. It used to be a golden yellow color. And the colors of the building right here are the exact same as they were back in 1989. Now this houses Star Wars Path of the Jedi. Next stop is here at the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Now the only thing that looks the same is the big sign in the background with Harrison Ford up there with a gigantic whip. All of this in the front is new, including a lot of the shrubbery and the Fast Pass entrance and standby entrance overhang that they have built. It's pretty crazy. I mean, you got to think about it. 30 years and all of this has overgrown right in front of the entrance. It's a really cool show, and I'm glad it has survived the last 30 years because not a lot of people talk about Indiana Jones, but a lot of people talk about Indiana Jones. Does that make sense? In the last 30 years, Echo Lake has taken quite a facelift, if you could say. But I'm glad to see Gertie is still here after all these years. Good to see you, Gertie. And now let's take a closer look at what Echo Lake looked like 30 years ago. Right over there is the SS Down the Hatch, still there, the Dockside Diner. And the theater over here is the exact same, however, that used to house Superstar Television, where they would have you stand in front of a green screen and act out different television shows, such as I Love Lucy and Gilligan's Island. Did you or your family ever get to experience Superstar Television back in the day? I got to experience the show several times. My favorite part was when they did the Home Improvement bit and the I Love Lucy bit. I loved seeing the Lucy Chocolate Factory scene right in front of my eyes. And as a little kid, obviously, I thought that really was Lucille Ball and Ethel Mertz up there on stage. Oh, the magic of Disney, making a small Micah think that Lucille Ball was hanging out here in Central Florida. And of course is the famous Chinese Theater, which housed the great movie ride right there in the distance. But right here, there used to be a big fountain that would be bursting water. And in the last couple of years, they built this little island that has come out where they can put this huge Christmas tree here during the holidays. I can still remember the fountain being right there and Superstar Television in the distance. But I'm glad to see that not a whole lot has changed as far as the architecture goes, because that is one of my favorite things in this park. Yeah, the architecture here is one of my all-time favorite things. I find myself walking around more looking at the buildings nowadays here at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now the next stop is going to be right over here showcasing what once housed the great movie ride, the Chinese Theater. As you can see, there's a huge stage blocking the Chinese Theater now. But I'm going to try and show you guys at least what I can show you of what the building looks like now from where this photo was taken. The photograph of the Chinese Theater was taken right about here, and the reason I can tell is because of that sewer drain right there. Pretty crazy. 30 years ago, people will be walking right here and going and boarding a tram and taking a journey into the movies. A magical journey into the movies on the Great Movie Ride. One of my favorite attractions, if not my all-time favorite Disney attraction. But the good thing is the building is still intact. We still have the Chinese Theater. And for that, I am grateful. Now obviously Streets of America has long gone, but I found this photograph that I thought was super interesting, and I'm going to try and show you guys exactly where this spot is. Now look to the far left bottom corner of the photo. You see the little planter area and how it kind of makes a little curve? That's the planter area now with the strollers around it. You can see the building in the far, far left distance, way in the back from Muppets. And then straight ahead is exactly where the Streets of America, New York Street, sat. And you can see the backs of the facade in the photograph as well. A whole lot has changed since then. I really do miss Streets of America and the backlot area, but I'm so glad I have this photo and I can still come and see exactly where those buildings once stood. Now I have two different photos to show you guys of the Star Tours area. This is gonna be pretty cool to see two different variations of the construction and opening of Star Tours. As you can see, the AT-AT or AT-AT, whatever you like to call it, has scaffolding all around it, and the trees were still being built for the Ewok Village. They also had a little building called the Construction Field Office, and you could see blueprints and maybe renderings for what was going to come for the attraction. Look at the construction wall over there with the lights. It looks like a little comic strip between 3PO and R2-D2. Pretty cool. I wish I could know what it was talking about. Who would have thought 30 years ago that all of this would be here for Star Wars? Pretty crazy. And this place has grown quite a bit. Look at all the trees and of course the people. As you can see in the photograph 30 years ago, there weren't that many people walking through here like there are now. Pretty crazy, man. 30 years makes a huge difference. And to think that the Star Wars legacy is still growing and growing to this day. Well, Hollywoodland, I think we did it, you guys. I think we successfully found all the stops that I was going to show you for today. Which means it's time to say goodbye. But if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a big thumbs up. And who knows what changes we'll see in the next 30 years here at Hollywoodland. There's a lot of things coming and a lot of things going, but one thing still remains the same. This will always be my favorite park of all time. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for traveling around Disney's Hollywood Studios with me today. I want to say a special thank you again to Dan over at tomorrowsociety.com for letting me use these photographs in my video and show you guys what things looked like 30 years ago in this park. I cannot wait for May 1st, 2019. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I definitely will try and be here for that day. If you haven't yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's free and it will keep you updated with my latest video. And if you would like to support this channel, please visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/worldofmicah, where donating $1 a month can help fund episodes just like this. I'll see you in the next episode of World of Micah, everybody. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.